So part 2. So once I saw that really the foundation of the Jesus story was very, very loose and fake and pushed together by aristocrats, and that religion and politics had ganged up, and it was obvious once I got that picture, and it's obvious when you get into the older documents, you see that that system of colonization that Constantine used is still working today. And it's exactly what happened in Europe because, Rome was just kept getting bigger, and pretty soon they ran out of food. And so what did they have to do? Or if they ran out of iron, not iron, but minerals or whatever they needed, then they'd just have to go colonize something, go beat the hell out of them, colonize them, take their stuff, right? Which is exactly what Europe did to us. You still belong to Europe. They still belong to Rome. It would just give him more, but also he needed to control everybody. So back to the big picture. How has us believing the Bible affected everything in our lives? And it's fake. How? I found out details I can share later that the New Testament was just written. Just a big aristocratic family wrote it, and they used sources. I've got the sources that they used to write it, and you'll recognize a lot of them. And they did that to control the narrative and to get an end result. Would they make you pay Caesar and turn the other cheek and think that you're an unworthy sinner, and that for you to focus on your sin consciousness? And obviously, if you're focused on sin, now come on. I tell people, do not pray for me. You don't know me. You have no business getting in my business. If prayers are real, I don't need you interrupting mine. Don't pray for me. It's bullshit. If prayers are effective energies, then I don't want anybody messing with mine. And that's just common sense, isn't it? Damn it, we've been so programmed. People say I think differently. Well, yes, because I think. Because I'm not a parrot or a robot or a sheep. Because I don't trust anybody, particularly after what I've been through in this research. So then you realize that, okay, they made it up. They made it up to create this unworthy sinner. They made it up to be in charge of everything, and you don't question it because it's good. And we pay it, and it has in my paperwork that they were dependent on the tithing as income. Not would like to have, oh no. And then there are places where it says every time if we take over a pagan temple, then we get to take everything because we are the church and God comes first. And then in the Edict of Milan or whatever, I think it was Theophilus, said man is God if it's the Pope. And they can do anything. Anything. What's wrong with us? What is wrong with us? No eyewitness of Jesus, no Gospels. bunk. And you can see how they wrote it. I've got all that, and I've got documents on the family that did it. And names are so weird because everybody has 100, but it's the Arius Calpurnius Piso family, but they're also related to everybody and his brother because the aristocrats had this power up here at the top and they weren't sharing it, and so they had to intermarry. And they were weird, just like my ancestors. But they were smart. So how does all that come together? They used all that to colonize America. Never were we free. Never. We've been slaves since the beginning. All right, so let's look at that logistically. And they used to have slaves. Slaves used to be tied up. We're not. We're not getting beat in public. We are getting abused to hell and back with food, water, all kinds of weaponry. My ears ring now. But I'm really susceptible to it. When I was little, I used to have recurring nightmares of these big, like balloons that weren't really round, that would just crowd each other out in the air all around me and want to pop, and they got too big. And it was really scary. Now I know it was a toroidal of energy. That's just what it looked like. When I saw a toroidal, I went, oh my God, that's what I used to dream about. But I don't know why, and I've always felt like I had one little finger on the earth and the rest of me was like this out there. So I know I'm weird, but I'm also a good researcher, and I don't quit, and I'm a good puzzle person, and I'm not dumb. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I've got problems, but I'm not. Those are some of the good points. I have done so much homework. The contradictions in the Bible are 287 was my last count. And the people aren't real. The Torah was a code for the end of the earth age, which is a 12,000-year cycle. And if you look in the Torah and count certain numbers, knowing the code, it equals the year. The whole year system is crazy. The Sumerians had it one way, the Jews had it a different way, the Mayans had it a different way, and everybody was trying to predict. And that's how 2012 was a big deal. People were scared, but it was the numbers off in the calculation. Sometimes, people thought a day was like, days could be, or hours could be different amounts of time, and calendars. It would be really hard to figure them all out. Anyway, so I know that religion, and I believe all of them are this way, and I think I could prove that. However, or all of them based on, all of them not based on the sun or nature. And then, okay, I gotta go to bed.